We have to have this content saved for the Germans.
We got to do it. So what we're going to do is I saved the first one. Now we'll save this one. I got to call Corey Brandon tomorrow and figure out how he's doing that saving on YouTube. Like, how's he getting this on YouTube?
I don't know how he's.
I'll call him. I'll figure it out.
The wizard.
He's a wizard. He's got that, like, you know, he's like living in the woods, got wizardry in his head. I got him.
His child is a genius. The child probably does it all. Young Clem.
Young Clem with that beautiful hair, the mane of his. Beautiful.
What a family.
Here we go. So anyway, so I was writing this song and I thought to myself, this is a conversation I'd like to have to comfort my friend. But at the same time, I was kind of going through, this was like the dark ages. This is 2014, 15, 16 for me, really hard time. And so this was a conversation that I was trying to comfort someone else with, but I wished that someone would have this with me and just kind of like, because everything that I knew was falling apart. The band, you know, like I was getting divorced, the whole thing. Yeah. Like everything that was firm foundation had been now uprooted. There's that, like, I don't know, like that feeling of complete upheaval. And then, you know, and much too, partly our fault, partly outside forces, you can't control it, whatever. But like, I knew, you know, in this time, I was like, I got to write something that makes me feel, how do I feel right now? And this was like, there's some key lines in here that I think are very revealing about how I was feeling at the time. And here we go. And, but again, like the thing, you know, of it is like, it kind of ends positive, but this is a song called Rosemary. So here we go.
Sweet.
Heard you say you don't feel right. Something must have changed inside. She said, I still love the band and the boy down the street. Everybody else gives me the creeps. There's a hole in you now, like the windshield was taken out. Everybody's hurt, mine ain't the worst, but it's mine and I'm feeling it now. Yeah, and sometimes I think it's haunted inside this house. And now I hear you crying over the phone. Where have all the good times gone? Down in the glass, shouting matches, lost in the songs they don't write anymore. Hey, 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 it's alright. I ain't trying to bring you down tonight. Oh, my mind says I don't mind. Just so tired of the empty sheets to sleep beside. Say it's gone all wrong. When near the days and the nights get so long, I still miss the scene. It's a dying breed, but now it's settled for some company. There were things that I did just so I could feel anything. Somewhere along, something went off, and I woke up with blood on my lips. Yeah, and there were nights I just did whatever I liked. Now I hear you crying over the phone. Where have all the good times gone? Down in the glass, shouting matches, lost in the songs they don't write anymore. Hey, 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 it's alright. I ain't trying to bring you down tonight. Oh, my mind, she says I don't mind. Just so tired of the empty sheets to sleep beside. But now I hear you crying over the phone. Where have all the good times gone? Down in the glass, shouting matches, lost in the songs you don't write anymore. Hey, 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 it's alright. I ain't trying to bring you down tonight. Oh, my mind says I don't mind. Just Baby, someday they're gonna love me back. Sleep, my baby, sweet Rosemary. My name is Rosemary. You'd be lucky to meet me. My name is Rosemary. You'd be lucky if you get to hold me. My name is Rosemary. You'd be lucky to meet me.
Beautiful. I love that.
Thank you.
Great
Thank you
song.
very much. Thank you.
Great song. Hey, I saw, I wasn't nervous to do this as it progressed. Before any show, I'm always nervous because
Same.
it's brutal.
Brutally nervous.
There's a good quote, though. Apparently, Liza Minnelli was about to go on stage with a young upstart singer. I don't know who it was. And Liza Minnelli looks over. It's a young woman, and she's like, "Aren't you nervous?" She's kind of like, let's do this. Liza Minnelli goes, "Aren't you nervous?" She goes, "No." And Liza Minnelli goes, "It's okay, honey. It comes with talent."
Great.
Which I whenever I get nervous for shows, which is always, I always think, okay, it's because it means something to me, and because I'm taking it seriously. Like you don't want to be flipping. But I did get nervous during that song when Tim Barry's name came up. I was like, oh.
I always get nervous whenever I see we have famous friends, and I feel like that they come around and they probably don't realize it, but people like that, like I grew up watching Tim, and I remember I think Avail is one of the greatest live bands in the world, but I remember one of the things that I really realized about that when I was watching it, I was kind of maybe like right at the last record they did, that like the Front Porch Stories, I remember starting to realize, looking at the show, and I said, there's something else about that guy. I was like, there's something other than this about that. And I said, I don't know what the connection is because I don't know him, but I remember like really pining over those lyrics, and it was formative to helping sort of bridge the gap and like what led me to write Sink or Swim.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, Avail was like, they were just,
huge helps.
Yeah, amazing. Those records were so good, and his solo stuff is incredible. He's just here. It is. You need to hear this. Get over here now.
Yes, he's got it. He's got the direct thing. He taught me the best advice I ever got in my life. Because we've talked many times. I'm a guy who gets I get my feelings hurt, a lot by by critics or like negative things that are said. Like I'm a little thin-skinned for this whole thing. But one thing that he said to me that really, really helped me a lot is he said, he goes, "You got to play for the lovers." And I was like, right, don't play for the haters. Because sometimes you adjust. Somebody says something negative. You're like, oh, shave my beard? Yeah, I guess I should shave my beard. But you don't play for those people. You play for the lovers,
It's so true, man. It's so true. And it's weird. It's like over time, those critics become fans because we amass our little group, and so they have to pay it. And they're like, oh, yeah. I mean, I've watched this happen with all my favorite bands. For so long, bands fall out of vogue, and then as time goes on, time and quality, if you keep the quality as high as you can, and you just keep going, eventually those critics. The funny thing about this, though, I got a bone to pick with critics in general. Music journalism, you have them.
Why?
They're going like, oh man, just no one tunes in to read our stories, critiquing music. Now they got the thing where they make you rate your own records. What is that?
What's this? Well, yeah. But that's a positive thing though. Like I think that's kind of like how did you think you do? With time and reflection. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if it's like I don't even think you're supposed to criticize them. I've got a funny thing. No, I would supposed
be
to
terrified to do that. I would never do that.
I don't know.
You rate them. It's your job. I got to make a new one.
Yeah. I mean, that's the Bob Dylan school of thought. While you're busy criticizing the last one, I'm on to the next thing.
You gotta. What else could you do?
Yeah. But the thing for me is now, see, writers and critics they're who prophesy with their pen. They're the most fascinating people to me. I don't know. I just find them fascinating because it's like a creative thing that I don't do, so I don't understand it a lot. And like, so I follow a lot of them online, and I find that a lot of it is really quite interesting. Some of it, I can see like now, like observing, like I see musicians sort of cater to things or try to like frame their identities or change to do things. I've done that myself. Lots of people have done that. I mean, everybody all the way up to Bob Dylan does that. But I can also see how, like, you know, critics have to stay relevant too. And there's a thing to it. And I find that most of the time, like, you can learn a lot from critics. And now I will say that there are critics who I think are, like, I don't think there's any place for being rude in, you know, like insulting like someone's like clothes or their hair or their style. Like, if you don't like that style of music, then if you're making fun of the whole genre, then maybe you just best shouldn't cover it.
Right.
But if you're, you know, but if you're actually like giving like an honest opinion, like, I thought this was good, I thought this wasn't so good, like I back that, and I've learned to sort of take it. I don't like it when it's negative, don't get me wrong. Like, I don't like it just as much as the next person, but I found like a sort of a song, and especially since I've started to, like, I've known a couple writers that that I don't know, like, I find that they're most of the time I find that they're more interested in commenting on the culture at large through these records than necessarily like slashing someone. Yeah, like, you, like, even if you read like I know everyone likes to talk about, like, when they talk about people like slashing records, they talk about Pitchfork, but if you read, I don't know if you've read Pitchfork in the last like year, but I do read it because sometimes I find out about good bands. Yeah, I mean, I don't read it religiously, but like I do read it from time to time. And I found that a lot of the criticism has become less about like mocking and more about like actually like, this is what is good about this, and this is why the development of the artist, and the development of the artist is becoming the key focus on their progression or lack thereof. So cool. That to me, I'm finding incredibly helpful, even though it's like, even though I'm reading about an artist that maybe like has absolutely nothing to do with my genre, I sort of like opened up myself because I had to like, there was a period in my life, like probably right after Get Hurt, where I like had to like go and like, you know, with all that stuff that went down, like divorce, the band taking the, you know, stopping and all that stuff, I had to go to therapy. Like, I was like, I was broken in the sense of like, I didn't remember who I was anymore to the public. Like, I had, my confidence was shattered. I was just completely shattered. And like, so, you know, like when I say like, they're like, you know, about things like that, like if I've ever, like, I remember like sometimes like my friends will say like, what about those times where like you said this during that time? And I'm like, sure, because I was having a breakdown. And then they're like, well, why didn't you say that? And you're like, well, that's the funny thing about having a breakdown is you don't realize it, because if you realized it, I could help myself. I wouldn't be having a breakdown. But that's why they call it a breakdown. You know what I mean? And every artist has had a moment. Bruce has had a moment. Like, I mean, you know, tons of people have had their moments where they, you know, Conor Oberst had a moment. Like, everybody. And like, I think that there is a time for, you know, for just like, there's a time for easing off and saying like, clearly this person is maybe not handling it well, but I am finding that they're doing less of that now.
The thing that's going to happen with Get Hurt, though, over time, is there's going to be this cult of people that it's their favorite record. Because this happens for everyone. It happens for Neil Young. It happens for everybody. And to me, like,
no, I fully, Benny said that. That was the first thing Benny said when the record, he goes, nobody's going to like this record now, but in 10 years, people are going to love this record. And I was like, well, yeah, there's some tunes on there that, like, when we did the tour in the 2018, the 59 Sound thing, like, I was pumped when we played, like, Stay Vicious and all that stuff. Like, there's some songs I really like off them. And there's even some that I, you know, like, recently that I was trying to, like, work out acoustic. I haven't gotten them ready yet, but some of them, like, just because, like, I think that there's some, when all is said and done and stripped away, I still think that there's some gems in there. I know it got rated as one of the, funny enough, it got rated as one of the worst songs we ever wrote by one paper. But I think that song's "Sweet Morphine." I honestly think that's one of my favorite songs from
That's
that
a good
era.
song, man. And
I
guess
don't
what?
know.
The song is a total hit. That is like
I love that song. Like I always did.
I remember seeing people tearing it apart, and then you guys played that on late night, and I was like, who could tear this apart? The song's
Listen,
awesome.
dude. I thought, you know what I think I've learned too. So there's this thing about culture and fashion and like the times with
Yeah.
things, and it's like I'm not saying it's an arbitrary thing, but sometimes like there was a period you have to remember that like especially like I followed a band like Pearl Jam their whole career. I've
Yeah, me
followed them
too.
through the thick and
Right.
thin. So, yeah, you have too. But you remember when they were doing Mirror Ball and they were
Yeah.
doing like, you know, binaural, they had fallen so far out of fashion that they were the butt of a joke. And
Yeah.
like bands, you know, they do this and styles of music. It comes up. Neil Young, I mean, too, Neil Young was like out. Dude, the biggest one though that somebody opened my eyes to recently was so Johnny Cash, before he did the Rick Rubin records,
Yeah.
dude, he was playing like country revivals at county fairs, like really, and 300 people were showing. Nobody cared. Like
I know.
he was like, hey, I'm a country guy. Like it was
Right.
not cool. But
Right.
then he like found this new life, and history sort of framed him as that's why I say you got to live long enough to be a legend.
Well, the thing too is like that's why I think chasing the carrot always, and I mean I don't mean the carrot of like of popularity or money or whatever, but the songwriting carrot, that's the one to chase. Because if you're always chasing that, like you said, they can review the record you just made all they want, and they can be kind to it or not kind to it or whatever. And if you're chasing the next song, see, it's funny. The other thing I wanted to comment on was what you said earlier about trying to impress somebody. One of the biggest lightning bolts for me has been Tim. And when I realized his talent, like, you know, after he started playing with me in 2014, and I started songs, and he showed me songs, I was like, oh my god, this kid knows what he's talking about, and he's hard to impress. He's really
Well,
hard to impress.
Tim, the first thing that I knew, like when you first told me you were bringing your brother in, I was like, oh gosh, here we go. I'm like, I guess his brother needed a job, you know.
Right.
But then I stopped because I didn't know Tim. I didn't know Tim at all. So no disrespect to Tim. I didn't even know Tim played guitar. I had no idea, or
Yeah, he
piano or
was a
anything.
little kid.
Right. He was when I met Tim the first time. He was probably like what 14, like 13, maybe younger than that.
Yeah.
Like he was young. It was
Yeah,
it was
probably.
during Keep Your Heart.
Oh yeah,
So
so that was like he was probably 13 or something. Yeah.
right. So I was like, what, this kid's gonna like be in the band now? I'm like, oh dude, this is terrible. But now that I've seen it, I honestly think like Tim's your Mike Campbell. Like that's your
Yeah.
guy. He's your like your partner.
He's my man. I mean, and he just if
Yeah.
I have an idea that gets like lights his eyes up, I know I'm onto something. And if I have an
Yeah.
idea that I know is good that he's not sold on, I gotta work hard to get that over on him. He's
Yeah.
like, you gotta take that line out. I'm like, no, this is why the line's good, and this, you know, like I really have to make my stand. And then typically like 3 hours later, I'm like, the line's gone, it's gone. You were right.
Right. Right.
He's brutal.
I totally back that. I back that.
It's great, but he's a guy I'm writing to impress. Because he's, you know, and he helps me when I get stuck too. That's the other thing. He'll be like,
that's great.
yeah, he ended up with that lyric, the middle of the road takes a toll. And I was like, oh.
I feel that.
I was like, how did you get that? And he was like, oh no, it just came to me. And it finished Divine Lorraine. I was like, good job.
It's crazy. I mean, like that's the thing, you know? It's like one of those things. I've never in my career had I've never had like a songwriting partner. Like where you could be like
Pete and
hey,
Brian.
like
yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, like when we used to write songs, like Ben, like I would bring in an acoustic song, and you know, like the guys would all help arrange. Sometimes they'd be like that part, you know, we need a big part here. That chorus is too long. Cut this short or whatever. Stuff like that, like shaping, real, you know, helping with that, and sometimes really to like an extreme extent where they like really, you know, made a song pop.
Yeah.
But like to actually get down and dirty with like, I'm not sure about this line. Like, what do you think? Like, I've never had that, and that like that's okay.
Was that Brendan O'Brien though? Did he get in there a bit?
Not like that. No.
No.
No, like he would tell me when something wasn't good enough, but he would never help me. Like
Finish. Yeah.
Brendan O'Brien was like, he was like a like he would do what like Benny always did, but like had worked with Pearl Jam, you know. So like, and Bruce Springsteen. So it was like
Yeah.
it was just on a different level than any of us were on.
And
And
he's
he would
musically
just
like so amazing, right? Like he can play everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
He like you if he hears a song on the radio, like he knows what chords they are before like he just sits down and plays it.
Yeah.
It's really it's a unique thing to see. He's a talented individual. And when he would just tell me, he would go, yeah, that's not good enough for this record. That's not good enough. And he would just walk away. So he'd kind of leave you stunted, and you'd be like, but my whole vibe was that I thrived on that.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to impress Brendan so bad, and I really admired him, that I would instantly sometimes come up with a new line. Like I remember one, like there was something about like Keepsake, that song, where like the chorus was like much simpler. I think it was like at the bottom of this river, like where I put you so I can live with it. And it had that pause. And Brendan went, I don't think that second line is done. He's like, the second line's got to be the home run, man. He's like, the second run has got to draw me to the second line has to draw me to the third line.
Right.
And he said, it's not doing it. And he goes, da, 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 da. He's like, something like that. And I went, and we were like recording the vocal. So I was in the booth, and I pretty much had set, yeah, dude, I had set myself on fire essentially. So I was like, down delay, like it just came right out. And he's like, yeah, that's good, do it. So it was like that, like, yeah. But that was like, you know, thank you. Like, yeah, it came out.
Like the Westerberg thing, though, apparently, was he would sometimes roll in to the vocal booth without any lyric. And just
really?
Rip. Yeah, that's the word. I mean, that guy's got so much like myth around him that you're not sure where it starts and where it ends. But I mean, to rip into the vocal booth, you've got your band and the recording contract and all that, and then be like, yeah, the lyrics, I'll figure them out when I put the mics in front of me.
Yeah, whatever.
But he ended up with so much gold.
So much gold. So the funny thing too, though, is I could see now how there was a bunch of songs, like they have some of the songs that have affected me so greatly, and then they have songs that I just don't understand, like that Gary's got a boner, or Tommy's gets his tonsils out. I'm like, I don't understand this.
You're
like, I don't get
Gary,
I don't get it.
Down with Tommy. Forget it.
I just don't understand. Like, I'm like, why? It's over my head, I guess. Like, I'm like, or I don't know if it's over my head or under my head. I just don't understand. I don't know. But then at the same time, like on the very same record is Androgynous. 40 years before its time.
I know.
And I'm like, this song to this day is making me cry. Like,
no.
Like I've not heard such depth. Unsatisfied. Come on.
I know. He's one of the big ones for me. I did realize, though, right around the same time as the Springsteen book came out, the Replacements book came out. Did you read that?
Trouble Boys. I haven't. I have it, but I haven't read it yet. Man. I don't know if I want to read it because I love them so much that I don't want to know the dirty.
Well, I realized pretty quickly. I think I read the Springsteen book I don't remember in which order, but I realized pretty quickly that I had worshipped too long at the altar of the Replacements when I was in the Loved Ones, and I should have been paying attention to the boss more. And obviously, I was.
I don't know.
But I don't
know.
Like wrapped up in that. Like I loved confusing the audience. I loved being wasted, and I reading the Replacements book on a much smaller level. I realized like, you know, I should have reached up higher instead of.
No, I think you did good with it because they have a unique thing though. I think that without, like, if we just sort of like, you know, because everybody talks about my connection with Springsteen where I did, you know, and I went but like, honestly, like, yes, Bruce is the best. And like, he is like, I love him. But if I had Bruce, but had not had the Replacements or like a few of these other bands on the way, I would say even Leatherface, Avail, like Hot Water Music, like all these bands, I wouldn't be who I am today, because
Right.
I still look at things with that other angle,
Yeah.
and so do you. So like,
Right.
it was good that, I think the balance is where what helps us sort of create something unique, you know, which
Yeah, that's
is,
true. It's like
you
whenever
know,
you mix two things together, you get a new color. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
yeah.
I think in terms of presentation, I guess maybe not song wise with the loved ones, but presentation.
I feel you. Yeah, no, I
Remember
feel you.
that? Remember when we did that loved one or the Gaslight tour, and we
Yeah,
were dressed like carnival freaks,
yeah,
and you were like,
yeah,
we were about to walk on stage, and you were like, "What are you guys doing?" We're like
yeah.
going on stage, and you were like, "You guys used to look so cool. What are you doing?" And what we were trying to do is confuse the audience, which is like, why even do like? But
Because you know why? Because that was the phase you had to go
that
through
was
to
the
get through
phase.
the next phase. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how things are. And like, you know, it it's like, I mean, it's sometimes it's like the reason, and you have to know. The one thing I'll say though is that, like, some of these bands, they didn't know when to knock that off.
Right.
And I think that's when it becomes self-destructive to a point. And I truly believe in my heart that some of these people, if we were in private, they would probably agree with that sentiment. they
I
they
think
would have
you're
said,
right.
maybe
Yeah.
we shouldn't have drank as much, maybe we should have taken, maybe we should have taken it more seriously, because honestly, the thing that we have, the ability that we have to go and have, like 1,000 people watching us gabber, is like, it's precious
Yeah.
beyond measure.
No, it's
You know what I
true, and
mean?
you don't want to be flippant with that. People's time is valuable, and they obviously were operating at a different time too. Now it's like
Yeah,
you could never repeat that band again. Like they were such a unique, weird thing. You should read the book though. I really
I
love it.
will.
I
I'll
read it
read it.
twice. It's good.
And you read it twice,
I did, yeah.
just in
It's
case you missed
sad.
something.
Well, I read the Springsteen book and the Petty book twice too. It's hard,
See,
it's hard to find stuff
here's
that I like. I'd rather just reread the stuff I do.
here's the thing, man. You got to get down with audiobooks. Like, Bruce reads the book to you. It's like, I can't be bothered with reading. There's so many words.
Yeah, but when can I put that on and not be interrupted?
Sometimes you just gotta go to the grocery store, for a long time.
For a long. Yeah, that's all we can do now. So I guess I'll do it there. Audible at the
Yeah, I thought you were having an affair. I was just listening to audiobooks.
He's just shopping for produce and listening to the Replacements book in my ears.
Yeah. Now you better do it with a mask on now.
It's very nerve-wracking to go to the damn grocery store now.
You know what? I avoid it at all costs.
Oh, I feel like I'm in North
you,
Philly. I'm like,
but you live in the California. There's a Whole Foods on the Whole Foods app. There's no, I'm sorry. If you're an Amazon Prime member, there's a little section that says Whole Foods. You click it and you can get delivery.
we should.
There's a no,
Yeah.
there's a no-touch delivery. I don't know about Whole Foods. I don't have a Whole Foods in Point Pleasant, New Jersey. But like, there's a local shop that we get,
They deliver.
we make sure they deliver, and we tip them very well.
I love this. We got to get on that. Tasha went this morning, and I was like nervous the whole time.
No, you got to get those. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is everybody will stay inside. I think that this thing will pass. It'd be all right. That's what I think.
I think eventually, yeah, we just got to do what we wait it out.
I agree.
Count our blessings.
You got to do the thing. But I mean, yeah, like the check the Amazon Prime. It's right up in the left-hand corner. It says Whole Foods. Just hit that thing. And then you can make some orders, delivery, and that business.
I will.
So what do you got next? What do you got?
We're rapping, right? This is the last song?
Yeah, we'll do this the last song, yeah.
Okay. I want to play Fireflies.
It doesn't mean we have to stop talking, because we can, but I guarantee you this will be the longest episode, because I will not talk to anybody like I talk to you. I talk to you like as if there's no one listening. So everyone listening today, the things that you're hearing, this is friends talking. Like, this is back. You want to know what backstage is? It's this. It's not I don't know about the dirt from Motley Crue. That never happened to me. So we got this was my backstage experience. So
right, we had to go solo because the band would hear us blathering on for so many hours. We got to get the hell out of here. These guys are just talking and talking endlessly.
Well, it was that, and we couldn't jump so high with our knees anymore.
Exactly. This song, Tim and I whipped up. We had that batch, the kick batch done, and we thought it was done. And I was like, we need one sweet song, very sweet song.
Yeah.
And everyone seems to, you know, you need some nostalgia every now and again. You know, you need to figure out like that little place of peace you had. And we just tried to dial in what that was for us. And for me, it was like those summer nights on the East Coast. So
I feel that.
Like as a teenager, when you're like, oh, you know, I'm because I saved $1,000. I'm gonna take the next month off, which is like, you're insane. But it felt, you know, I guess I just didn't realize at the time that, you know, I would chase that feeling. Well, and like to this day, that's essentially what you're chasing, is that feeling in the summer when everything's just bliss. So
yeah,
this was our try at trying to capture that in the song.
I feel that. Wait, I just want to say something really quick. Somebody just said, do Americans like bare walls with white trim? And they're referring to my wall. So here's the deal. So I just moved into this house over the summer, and I was in the middle of writing a record when I moved. So I do have pictures in boxes. There are cardboard boxes still sitting across from me, because I was writing the record, and then I immediately went to record the record, and then I immediately came home. I have 2 kids in school, and then the Black Plague came back. So I haven't really had time to decorate. But no, don't judge America by my blank wall behind me.
2 things. I do have all the photos that he has in that box are of Chris Farron, by the way.
They are all of Chris Farron. Yes, and matter of fact, I am speaking to Chris Farron tomorrow about what date he is available to come on sitting around at home.
What do you mean, what date? He's available all the time. He's sat at home.
Well, you know, I said when he's available. I kind of meant when I'm available, but when he's available. Well, because really, I'm just trying to get Cassie on the show, so like, but I have to get him too.
Oh, she would be the tell-all interview.
She would tell all the secrets.
What's really all about? You got to talk to Cassie.
What's he about?
Yeah.
What if I got Cassie and Peggy on? Is this mom's name, Peggy? I think it is. Peggy, yeah. That would be great.
This would be true.
I won't do that to him. I would never do that to him. I want to hear, honestly, I will say this. Chris Farron is probably one of the most, I think, interesting songwriters. Anytime I've talked to him about this, his process is explosively creative. It's amazing.
I mean, I had the room with him, and he empties his entire bag out onto the bed every day and then resorts it.
Yeah. Well, you know, he helped me record Local Honey. It was me, him, Ian, and Kurt. And he was like, the amount of stuff that guy gets done in a day is insane. Yeah. He's so productive. He's the most productive human being I know.
Very busy. He's very busy.
So, well, we have Fireflies.
What's that?
It's going to be good. Fireflies?
Fireflies it is. Hey, listen, if we cut off at the end or because we're done, I just wanted to say publicly thank you for all the years of friendship.
Come on
all
now.
of the support of the music that I make. I mean, it's been a long, beautiful road. I always look forward to doing stuff together, whether it's this, playing shows, sharing songs. So, I mean, thanks, man. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you for always being there for me. You've always been there. Always.
I'm here. I'm really here now. I got my texter ready to go. Holla.
I love it.
I've got a sepia tone Polaroid of you from days gone by. You look so good in shades, but I wish I could see your eyes shining bright right back at me like you saw something in mine. Lighting up the August night like dizzy fireflies. That's We saved $1,000 back then. We knew we would be fine. We'd sneak into the golf course back when all we had was time. We'd lie under the fireflies. We'd drink a box of wine. Long before you wanted more in this whole box is mine. Nothing but your hand in mine. Like when we were young and wild-eyed. We had nothing but plenty of time. Lit under the firefly. If I could double up my salary next year, we might afford a house. I could work away my fingerprints, grind the teeth out of my mouth. She said if you can't find your hope, you'll end up living by your fear. But every day it seems less okay, and it hasn't been our year. I'm old now and all I know how is to work to see your face. Smiling proud knowing we carved out some tiny little space. But this clock just keeps on ticking. We can't seem to slow it down. Let's kick against the current. I'll hold you if we drown. I'll hold you if we drown. Will you meet me there tonight? I don't want nothing but your hand in mine. Like when we were young and wild-eyed. We had nothing but plenty of time. Lit under the fireflies. Meet me there tonight. I don't want nothing but your hand in mine. Like when we were young and wild-eyed. We had nothing, just plenty of time. Meet me there tonight. Meet me there tonight. Like when we were young and wild-eyed. We had nothing but plenty of time. Lit under the fireflies. Lit under the fireflies. Lit under the fireflies.
Yeah, that's great.
Thanks, bud.
Well, thank you very much, Dave Hause. Thank you for coming on, and thank you all for watching, sitting around at home.
Yeah, what a
2.
treat. Thanks, man.
This has been great. Take care of that family of yours. Beautiful.
Yeah, all my love to all you guys. See ya.
You too. Bye-bye, buddy.